Good evening, race fans, and welcome to virtual Nurburgring, Germany for tonight's Week 8 race of the Sunday Night Skippy Racing League, now in its third season. Tonight we will be watching over 40, I believe we have at this point. I got to get an update number on that. 40 drivers attempt to tame the nearly 13 miles or 21 kilometers of the Green Hell. We are proud to broadcast tonight's race in partnership with Barefoot Racing over the airwaves of CavOK Racing Network's YouTube and Twitch platforms. Just search for CavOK Racing, that's CAVOK. As always, feel free to join in on the conversation with your comments and questions, and we'll monitor the comment section to the best of our ability and get to them as time permits. Also, tonight's camera pack is brought to you by TrackCams22.com, so if you like what you see there, head over to TrackCams22.com and check out what they have to offer. Alright, joining me in the booth tonight, I guess, representing Barefoot Racing, but due to some unfortunate circumstances, I guess we'll introduce Ian first. Ian, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, guys. I'm doing pretty good. Yes, I'm fortunately not racing tonight due to some issues with my headset, but looking forward to being in the booth for the whole race.
And a late addition here, so that's why her name's not showing up on the intro screen here, but Megan will be providing some color commentary as well.
Good evening, everybody.
And I will say, and we're carrying over our F1 fancy pinkies up race watching today, so we've got a little bottle of champagne that I'll be popping here shortly as we watch the Sunday night Skippy drivers drive around Nordschleife here, and we'll be fancy. So I don't know what that means, but I imagine the broadcast will get more interesting as the night goes on.
Well, I hope so. I would like to say that we have additionally sitting next to me in the co-pilot seat, Max doing a reprise of his assistance.
Hello.
Hey Max, oh sorry I missed you there. I did not see your name on the thing, so I didn't realize you guys were literally going to be together for the broadcast. But great to have you back. Sorry we missed you last week. Really curious to see what you think about a track it's unlike the other ones that we race.
I'm 13 miles of track. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of separation between the drivers, so it's going to be a lot of switching back and forth from driver to driver.
Yeah, it'll be for this race, for anybody who's been watching the season, we set basically minimum times that you have to meet throughout the week on the track in order to be able to race, to qualify to race, and there's a couple controls in place to make sure that the racing is clean, especially in the shorter tracks. Those are basically out the window tonight because the track is so long. Even if you are way off pace, you're not going to present an issue to the leaders most likely. So we'll see how that all works out. We're getting some beautiful views of the German countryside here, and let's check in now with the qualifying efforts. Something else we did a little differently this week is, instead of a full-up practice with a open or closed qualifying session of a few laps, because this track is so long, it basically became an hour and 10 minutes worth of qualifying. So drivers had from basically 8 p.m. Eastern to log on and try to set down a hot lap to set the grid for this evening.
I will say right now, if we jump over and have a look at the screen, we've got Chris Herrera out on the track. We can do a quick track walk with him.
Sounds great, man. Well, we're riding on board, and if you want to take it away there, Ian.
Okay, so he's coming up to Hatzenbach, Pastor Hatzenbach, coming up towards Pottenchen. So this is a drop down and a little quick right-hander, followed by a left-right complex. As he's getting ready to go through to the Quiddelbach Ho. Oh, he's pulling over. No, keep going, Chris. Dang it.
What's it?
How about? Ooh, looks like he's going again. No, maybe not. I don't think anybody's actually out on track right now.
Interesting.
Who do we have?
Nikolai Wood.
Nikolai Wood's out on track.
Phil Iwood is out on track. All right, we're right along with him.
All right, so I'm just trying to pick up where he is. One of the biggest problems we've got with this track, the Green Hell, is it's so long. It's really, really difficult to try and figure out exactly where you are on the entire track as you go through the race. So he's now coming up along Quiddlebach Ho. So he comes along here, the road quickly goes off to the right and climbs slightly, followed by a quick left-hander. And again, you're really trying to figure out where you are on the track as you go along. You've got this is the carousel. Oh, that's the little carousel. Okay, sorry, I now realize where he is. So he's coming up to actually the back straight away. These corners are well known. That's the Black and Cough, or otherwise known as, hang on a second, is Gallows Head. And if you look across over to your right-hand side, you can see over there in the distance the castle, Nurburgring Castle, over there, right on top of that hill. And this is an old castle that used to be obviously lived in many, many years ago, medieval times. This road here, you'll see a lot of overtaking as people draft along here. And if they get it right, if you start drafting someone too early, they will let you pass them. They will then pick up your draft and pass you as you later on down the road. So you come all the way down here and pick your braking spot. You've got to get that right. You've got a little right-hander. You can hear he's flat out. There's no braking yet. He's going to start to come down third gear around here, probably down to the second, before he plants it one more. And there you go into the pits. That's where they'll be diving into the pits. You can see it's a real tight right-hander, and that's where the pit speed drops as they trundle through. They'll be pulling in, getting themselves refueled, and then booting back out again to go through Hutzenbach, which is the first corner. So you've got North Hairpin, then you've got Hutzenbach, then you've got Honeychen. I'm really trashing these names. But, it's going to be fun.
Definitely doing better than I could. That is for sure. Yeah, and we are, correct me if I'm wrong, the actual race itself will still be timed, or are we doing laps?
Yeah, the race will still be timed. I believe it's still the same thing. 40 minutes with a refueling stop. Should be somewhere in the region of 5 or 6 laps, I think, if I remember our last time here. One of the big problems is going to be making sure that you get yourself around without crashing. That is going to be the difficulty, because when you crash, having to go back and tow is going to take so long. It really is going to put you in a bad position.
Yeah, the complexities of this track, and Megan mentioned this kind of last week. We were talking about you kind of learn a track and what it takes to get into a rhythm in a track, and this is just one of those circuits that experience helps a lot, because you're not just going to jump on and be able to do 20 laps and know it very well. To your point, I mean, you've done this a lot of times, and you're still like, wait, where are we again? What's coming up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this track was first raced in 1907, and it's been changed and moved and altered and made safer, and had multiple changes since then to try and make it easier for people to run. And if obviously the other thing is, of course, as you can see sometimes, if you're actually in Germany, in Nurburgring, you can actually pay and take your own car or your rental car and drive
With
it
the
around.
insurance. Yeah.
There you go, exactly. So 1907, they had a race around here in the public roads between Warham and Saarburg, which is just north of Frankfurt, actually, if you look on the map of Germany. And then it was used by various motor clubs and folks. It was mostly street circuit. until it was actually converted into a useful race-used track. After World War II, they started racing again in 1947. And then in 1951 is when the Nordschleife, the north part of it, was the main venue for the German Grand Prix. And they weren't very happy with it because it was a very dangerous track. I seem to say that on all the broadcasts.
Right. Seems to be a theme here.
Yeah. But it was, by the 1960s, because the cars were getting faster and faster and the technology was getting better and better, these tracks really became quite deadly and people were losing their lives. And so they did many changes to try and make things more safe. They added a chicane and so on. But they stopped racing it. I think it was in 1983 was the last time it was used for a Formula One race because it just was too long. And to be honest with you, it was too difficult for television to show it properly.
Well, it makes a ton of sense. I mean, I got to imagine we're going to be, if it was tough for professionals, I can't imagine how it's going to go for us tonight. The gridding or the qualifying seems to be finished, although I don't know why we're not progressing on the session here. I do not see anybody else out at on track at the moment. I will qualify to a couple points. We have 38 people currently registered for the race, so we'll see how many end up gridding. Not over 40 like I thought. And Megan did correct us. It's actually a 5-lap race tonight. It is, in fact, going to be lap-based, according to an admin announcement earlier this week. So we will, I guess I'll just pull up the timing tower for right now while we wait for the session to advance. But you can see here at the moment it looks like Pete Morbron has taken the pole with a 7:58.781, which is if you haven't raced this before in the Skippy, that is super fast. I mean
that's very quick.
I think a lot of people were mentioning in the Discord all week that their times were much slower than last season because of the weather conditions in the public races. Well, we seem to have fixed that problem with the coolness of the track, because Pete breaking 8 minutes there is quite good. I got to imagine there was a draft involved, and if not, then good luck to the rest of you guys on the race tonight, because yikes.
Big difference between first and last. I mean, that's a 42-second difference.
Yeah.
That's huge. I mean, that's absolutely massive. So it is going to be really interesting to see how this race pulls out. I don't think back markers are going to be much of an issue. It's quite an easy track to pass on. And it's such a long track that it's going to be hard, even at a high speed, for the front runners to catch the back markers. So, Megan, did you run the track?
I did not this week. I do not have the attention span for an 8-minute track.
Or a 10-minute one in my case.
So, like, it would have been more like 11 or 12 minutes for me then.
How about Max? Max, were you able to give it a shot? Are you still working on your iRacing career here?
Well, talking about me giving it a shot, me and Ben have an Xbox, right? Me and Ben raced the Nurburgring track on. Well, Ben's my brother. Me and Ben raced the Nurburgring track on my Xbox.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so you're getting a handle and idea of what it was like.
You can use like any car in that game, right? So like, one for just a joke, me and Ben did it in a mini car or like a smart car.
How was that?
Slow. Like 30 miles an hour. And then we did it in Lamborghini and a Bugatti Veyron.
Okay, so you went on both ends of the speed spectrum there.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well, I think the Skip Barber is pretty firmly in the middle of that there.
Yeah.
And we are under a tornado watch, just so everybody knows at the moment.
Lord.
So if we end up leaving quickly, there you go.
So we've got a special guest who's just popped in for a quick visit.
Hey, I'm Max's brother.
Oh, is this Ben?
Yeah,
Hello, Ben. Welcome to the broadcast. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. So, your brother Max was just telling us about how you guys were practicing the track on Xbox. Did you have fun with that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, are you going to be watching the race with us tonight?
Yeah.
Very good, very good. Well, welcome, and hopefully the drivers of Sunday Night Skippy can put on a good show for all of us. And we've got. It looks like we've also got some team running on empty. The fan club here in full effect. It does. I guess we'll throw out a big happy birthday to Frank as well. I guess Chris's
Birthday,
performance. Yeah, happy birthday, Frank. And no pressure on Chris Herrera, but yeah, his standing tonight will determine how much he likes Frank after all. So
Absolutely. We figure that if he doesn't win, he doesn't really like Frank.
exactly, yeah, I think that's fair. Well, we are riffing here because I don't know what the heck is going on. Let me see if I.
Where's Mom? Is this where we make up elaborate conspiracy theories about him?
Okay, well that's not super helpful. We'll continue to listen. It looks like the drivers are doing some chatting back and forth. Oh, Adam chimes in. We can't advance the session, so advancing the session. Sorry, Megan reminds me that not everybody here plays iRacing. Typically, the way you set up the races, if you're hosting, in this case, there's different sessions, which a session would be practice, qualifying, or the race itself. There's other types of races you can do, but that would be the general idea here. And so basically, we're stuck in qualifying and cannot advance to the actual practice or the race session. It appears we're having some technical difficulties. So guess there is a buffer time. Oh man, there might be up to eight or so minute buffer time if somebody wants to finish the lap. Although that is weird because nobody is currently out there. But
Well, while we're waiting, I mean, just to give some perspective. So the Skippies are doing the Nurburgring in what, 7 minutes 58 seconds, which is the all-time best time by Pete, who actually on iRacing holds some of the world records for the fastest time around this track. In the real world, I think one of the fastest times around the track was set by a Mercedes F1 car. And let's look at the difference. So you've got an F1 car, which weighs, nothing more than a handkerchief that's been a bit damp, and has like 1,000 horsepower or something. No, 750 horsepower. And you've got a Skippy that drives like an old piece of iron on the ground. And the Mercedes did it in 4 minutes 51 seconds. Yeah.
good
So,
night.
yeah. Can you imagine that the speed that was going around there in?
Yeah, the G forces were probably a little bit more intense there than on the Skip Barber. But and I guess it's important to note, for folks out there who maybe don't play the iRacing, the Skip Barber is a great introductory, and we've mentioned this before, but not in a while. It's a great introductory car for wherever you want to go in a road racing iRacing career, because it's very much a momentum vehicle. It's not super powerful in terms of horsepower and acceleration and all that. So you are in essence not penalized, but you feel it more if you miss the apex of the turn or don't carry the speed through the corner, or you don't basically do the essentials exactly right. So it highlights that much more, so that when you do move on to those other cars, that maybe you can just step down and on the loud pedal there and accelerate out. You've got those. What a good line through a turn looks like, basically.
You have to drive the car far more. There's no excuses. I was reading some information, and I think the wings that the Skippy have were added to create more drag, so
Mm.
that people could get used to racing behind other folks and understanding how draft worked.
Mm. Yeah, the draft is actually quite pronounced in the Skippy as we've seen so far this season. And to your point, we actually did get to ride along for a little bit there on that backstretch, and I had my map up here, but basically there's a huge long straightaway before the final few turns before the start finish line, and what we anticipate seeing, if anybody remembers, that was the battle between Nikolai Wood and Jason Bice last season, was on that straightaway, and just the um, tactics of how the draft works out and when you want to try to use that quote unquote slingshot mode at the right time, and how that all works out, because that's going to be huge. And then there's other more technical sections as well through the rest of the track. So it's got a little bit of everything as you would expect on such a long course. And yeah, I'm really excited to see who can prevail here. To your, I meant to bring up earlier too. You mentioned we got about 42 seconds or so separating first from last on the qualifying results here. Even at that difference in pace, over 5 laps, they're not going to see each other unless they have an accident or something like that.
Exactly.
It's crazy. It's crazy how long it is, just to put that in perspective.
Well, they don't call it the green hell for nothing.
Exactly.
I threw something over in your chat. You might be able to see it there, Chris.
Excellent. I was actually trying to play. I will try to do this later, but get browser information into the stream. It wasn't working exactly right, but be able to show videos like that in case we have situations like this.
Oh, right. Looks like they're gridding.
Forward. All right. Looks like that is correct. I'm showing that as well. So let's bring up. Still not bringing up the results. Try to reload here. Nope, doesn't look like it's going to want to work for us this evening. Well, we had I guess we'll just congratulate Pete again. He does have the pole, very fast time. Carl Dronke and Chris Herrera start right behind him with Justin Rubello, Mike Bowers, James Hauser, Jason Bice, Lyndall McMurphy, Jeffrey Decker, and Jonathan Dance will be your top 10 for this evening. And that is where we're going to have to start it, unfortunately. Let's check out as they begin to grid, and with this many cars, this is the tail end over here. You can see that it is quite a bit of distance between the pole position and those folks who are gridding toward the back there. So they got their work cut out for them if they're going to try to catch up to the rest of the field.
Certainly do. They certainly do. It should be an interesting little run, first, especially through these first few corners. So keep an eye out and see who makes it.
Looks like engines are getting started here. We've got about 30 seconds left at most. We will pull up our timing tower and get ready to go on a 5-lap race around the green hell. We can check in, see what the drivers are saying to each other right before we are about to go green.
Loses the paint. He's so fast, he just loses the paint scheme every race.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Barney waves the green flag, and we're off.
JR Hoop's got a good start back there in 11th or 12th position.
Oh, and we already have back in the field, parts flying. Looks like the 7's rear wing there of Jack Moffitt is just kind of doing a little dance down the stretch. You can see Jack missing his rear wing there. Should be fun for him.
Oh no. Well, as I said, it's only going to make his car lighter.
There you go. Let's try to see what we can surmise what may have happened here. We're tuned in with Oliver Hartley in the number 17 Google car. Oof. Yeah, I don't know. That is really tough to say. Try one more time from his onboard camera. Sean Trediak got around, and people just trying to avoid the mess. Well, the good news.
Oh dear, yes, yes. Oh, and it looks like Walter got picked up in there too, or who was that?
Jonathan Dockery, I'm getting an indication that he has crashed. Check in, see what may have happened there. He just got, stepped on the brakes a little too much. Oh, and he collected some other folks there too. Nowhere to really go. Unfortunate for those folks. Got some great racing going on here though. Throughout the field still. The front pack seems to remain tightly spaced. This is Jeffrey Decker for the 9th spot. Let's go back just a little bit further. Don Parks and Thomas Fotos. Believe this is the closest race we've got going on right now for the 11th spot.
They seem to be keeping together. I mean, we look like we're dropping into two sort of separate main packs, but they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, outside of that initial wreck there on lap 1, we do have some more off tracks and crashes. We'll try to keep up to pace here. Robert Longatano. Oh, this was part of the earlier one. It just registered. Then that was Sean Trediak who got into him as well. He was the next incident that I had seen. Jonathan Dockery looks having been involved in that earlier accident. Went off track again. Missing a wheel, trying to limp it around. That's tough.
Yeah, in a track this long, it's almost better to just try and keep going. It's almost better to well, it's 6 of one and half dozen of the other. You know, do you tow, or do you try and make it all the way around? It's tough. I think probably towing.
I see Jeffrey Decker falling back quite a bit there through the standings. I'll see if can't find what maybe happened to him. I also see Kent Kirkendall crashed. So this is gonna be a little crash heavy at first here. I do apologize as we get the tires warmed up. This is Jeff Decker. Yeah, got his left rear. Nowhere to go for him. Kent Kirkendall, that's why he dropped down. And Kirkendall looks like he was some braking action while turning. A little bit of contact, may have lost his nose cone, but he's back on the track and going. All right, let's check back in with the leaders here. We've got Carl Dronke has taken over the top spot over Pete Mobrotten. Justin Rebello maintains contact with Chris Herrera in 4th. They've opened up just a slight gap to Mike Bowers, who's got a little bit of a gap even more on Jason Bice. Jason is towing James and Lyndall McMurphy at the moment. You can see we're still pretty bunched up. You check out the track map and things are quite bunched.
That was a beautiful shot of them going into the carousel.
Yeah, that's... Once again, that's trackcams22.com if you're interested in that. It's a very specific camera pack for Nordschleife.
Look how slowly the cars are moving on the track map. I just want to point this out. I mean, this is impressively slow.
Yeah, I was tapping it to make sure it wasn't stuck, the track map.
I think it's because it's just impressively long.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't scale well compared to, unless we want it taking up the whole screen. Okay, so I was just talking about Oh no, it looks like he may have hung on. Mike Bowers was off track. Don Parks went off track. Although I don't see any significant issues arising from that. Like to call out Scott Dorkins, sorry, up 10 spots so far. He's our highest climber of the evening. Jeffrey Decker down 14. Oh, I'm sorry, Sean Trediak involved in one of those earlier incidents. Currently in the pits, getting some damage repaired. Probably getting a wheel back on the car.
Yeah, and the leaders now coming up now to get onto that back straight just now. They're going to go up to the little carousel soon, and then they'll be on the back straight and see how they go around there. And I see JR Hoops is being challenged by Luis Barbioni, or how we say his name. Oh, and Luis has lost 2 places to both Luis and Adam. And now Walter is passing JR. Sorry. And Nikolai Wood. I don't know what happened. He must have broken something.
Oh, they're going 4 wide. They're going 4 wide. The lead pack is, okay, we've got Carl thinking better of it. They all slide back in, but Chris Herrera has taken the lead. Justin Rubello in second. Woo! Check back.
My gosh, it looks like they're all taking one sort of lane of the track.
And even further back here, Mike Bowers, James Hauser, Jason Bison, Lindland McMurphy.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Me helping my brother set up iRacing and stuff.
Very good.
It's a family affair.
There you go.
Yeah, he's learning. He's actually very good at it. Well, I mean, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's good for the 20 minutes he's played on it, so.
There you go.
So here we go back into lap 2. I don't know what happened to JR and why he just suddenly got passed by those guys so easily. Maybe it was a strategic move.
I'll cycle back here. We'll focus on JR Hoops to when he got past a ton. This is JR in the number 10 car. Yeah, it looks like maybe he just swung out wide. And then just kind of the freight train went on by. Just keeping it clean, Nothing wrong with that. Back here with him is Walter Collada and Jack Moffitt. Jack still without his rear wing, trying to maintain contact with this group, which is basically the battle for 12th.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, really? But, you know, like I say, that rear wing missing, the car's just a wee bit lighter and he's creating a little bit less draft for those behind him, I guess.
Does look like...
Sorry, go ahead.
Justin Ribello has taken over the top spot, if we didn't mention that already. Congratulations to Justin there. See, oh, Adam Wright goes around. He is off. Oh. I do not know what happened there.
User error, I think.
Oh. He and the 192 touched wheels. That would be our friend Luis there. They were going down, gently touched wheels, and Adam got the bad end of that one. Let's check back in with the leaders here. There's Justin. Chris Herrera still close second. Timo Brown and Carl Dronke have opened up now an 4.7 second lead over the second foursome.
Cervello's not a name that we've been talking about much at the very front.
Yeah, he's really showing up today here. Let's.
Maybe he's like raced this track a lot before, or maybe he's just got the hang of it. I guess. I don't know.
You know, Justin Rebello. I think he's pretty new to our league. He hasn't done that race.
He's done 3 races with an average finish of 8th. So with 2 top 10s.
There you
So
go.
not a bad showing so far for the relative rookie, and kind of showing off his chops here tonight.
Yeah. If you look at his name, Rebello, you would think maybe there's some sort of, Spanish influence in that name. But I'd like to say that he's actually Asian. And he comes from a very small community in the middle of sub-Saharan Africa.
Interesting.
Yeah. His mother is apparently a famous elderberry wine distributor.
That's my favorite kind of wine.
Exactly. I like a little bit of elderberry wine. Oh, and he's been passed. Looks like he's been passed.
This is so sad.
Yeah,
drinking enough elderberry wine.
Yeah, or too much. Who knows?
Sad.
And now we've got James Houser's in second with no, who's in second? Pete McBrough.
Pete, yeah.
Where's Hauser? What's he doing down there in fifth, sixth position?
Yeah, it's the Bice, Hauser, Bowers, and McMurphy train. They're now 6 seconds behind, so they're losing time. Let's actually, I'll focus here on Jason and try to get the sector times up so we can get an idea. You can see Herrera putting up 0.4 seconds on a couple of the sectors. Well, they made up some time there on the 6th one, but
he's got that Two Labs Racing team that he races for, does Hauser, and one thinks it's the 2 dogs that he has, but it isn't. He actually has 2 laboratories.
Exactly. All right, we're getting word. Sean Trediak seems to be off again. This looks like it's a solo. Hopefully it was. Yeah, just sent a little wide there. No worries.
Oh, who's that? Oh, that's yeah, that's dangerous reversing like that.
And through the field, here's Carrington Wilmer, all up 11 spots. So overtakes Daniel Pagowski and Scott Dorkins as the top gainer for the evening. Carrington famously not a fan of qualifying, so we'll see how that works out. But he's up to P23, working his way up through the field.
The Carringtons are absolutely gorgeous creatures who everybody loves. They tend to be outgoing, exuberant, pretty, and lots of fun. And they're very friendly, apparently.
Sounds accurate, yeah.
Yeah, but don't get them angry because they have a very vicious side if you really piss them off.
You don't want to be on their bad side, is what you're saying.
No, but it's rarely seen. That side of Carringtons are rarely seen.
Oh, and we got another car on, Aaron Law. I was just focusing in on him. Let's take another look at that.
Barrier into the Armco. That can't be good.
Yeah, this is not gonna. Oh, yeah. That'll be interesting to see what the stewards think of that one in particular. That one looked kind of rough.
Oh, look at that! He got hit. Oh, that was absolutely the fault. Who was that on the inside of him? Being a bit too enthusiastic.
Yes. Tough to see. Yeah. Well, Here's Aaron in the pits. It looks like we do have our first pit stops as well. Pete Mobron. So Justin Rebello stays out. Pete, Carl, and Chris all coming into pit, and that second foursome also remains out, along with actually looks like pretty much everybody else. So Pete, Carl, and Chris make a different decision than pretty much everybody else, and we'll see how that works out for them. Looks like Justin does have almost a 9-second gap on this second group of 4, so plenty of room there. But this should make it interesting. We see the different pit strategies coming into play.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure how this is going to work out.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. This did not happen last season. You guys did not have a fuel requirement. Did you have a fuel? Did you have a pit last? Because I'm intrigued to see whether or not this affects the actual race.
I'm trying to remember. I think we did. I don't think for me it was very effective because I think I was in the pits probably about 8 times, but
some great racing going back here in the 10th spot. So that's Carl Dronke ahead of JR Hoops. And just behind them is Pete Mobronton. And 0.3 seconds back is Chris Herrera with Jack Moffitt just behind him. But these are the 3 that had pit. They come out in relatively the same spot. So we will bring up the last pit lap on the timing tower so everybody can see who has pit and who has not. The question always, did you take enough fuel? Now it's a little less of a guessing game when it's a lap race, not a time race, because in theory you could do an additional 8 minutes of racing, if it were timed, in theory, by having to do another lap, but that isn't going to be the case today. Hopefully they were able to nail down their exact fuel calculations. Chris Herrera gets in the back of JR Hoops, sends him around. Oh no.
yeah, that's no good.
So JR...
Dropping.
And you can see Chris there. Doesn't look like he's got any damage on his car, although now he's got quite a gap to make up. About 4 seconds back up to Pete.
And Jason Bice is right behind Mike Bowers at the moment. Or should I say,
Mike Bowers is actually behind Jason Bryce, not the other way around.
Jason Bice, Mike Bowers, James Hauser, Lyndall McMurphy still together, still losing time to Justin Rebello.
he really has gapped the field. He's 10 seconds out ahead of them.
It is incredible to see.
Yeah. It might have been a very smart move if he can do a splash and dash at the pit straight. Oh, and there's who's that climbing up into Mike Bowers's it's James Hauser climbing up into Mike Bowers's gearbox. But yeah, if he can do a splash and dash, maybe he can pull one out. And I see Dancy's dropping. Oh, fighting with Wilmer. They keep just swapping their positions there.
Right along here for just a second with Lyndall McMurphy. He's at the back of this group of 4, just trying to stop the bleeding on their losses to Justin Rebello. So it's actually, let's look if we can't do some real quick math here. And we know that's dangerous when we try to do that live. But if instead of pit lap, I'll bring up the total pit lane time. And you will see Pete, Carl, and Chris all had about 30 seconds. And right now, Pete is 23 seconds behind Justin. So in theory, Justin needs to gap them even just a little bit further if he wants to come out on the good end of this.
Yeah. Did Bison Bowers pit?
Bison Bowers are still out there. They have not pit yet. Basically, the top 8 have not pit.
Okay, so it's going to get interesting. Yeah, the gap grows. Rubella's now 11.5 seconds out ahead.
And Justin out there running laps by his lonesome, which I guess in some ways is good, some ways maybe not as good, but he seems to be doing all right.
Coming up a 12-minute gap. We'll have to understand from Mr. Rubello how the elderberry wine is working.
It's the secret sauce, apparently.
It absolutely seems that way.
If it's secret, I doubt he's gonna tell us.
Good bet that that won't be happening. All right, well, we'll see what happens here. We're coming up on lap 4. We've got a bunch of people who have not pit yet. Justin is leading the field up the backstretch there into the final few turns before he has to enter pit road.
Come left, come left.
We'll enter, listen to the audio again here.
Well, here comes Rubello up towards the pits, and he's in. He's into the pits.
There we go.
Fitting.
All right, so now we've got to keep an eye on the rest of the pack behind him and see what's going to happen. Here they all come, and they're going through the start-finish area. I wouldn't call it the start-finish straight. Somebody else. Oh, they're all diving in. They're all diving into the pits. This is going to be really and Rubella's out. He's off. He's off. Who we got coming up behind him? We've got Dronky. Oh, just got passed by, who is it? Dronky and Pete McBroughton.
So he's back up there. Chris Herrera is just a little bit further behind them. He's got his work cut out for him, though.
Yes. Good job by him. Good tactics there.
And it would appear that his lap time is,
Better tires now.
or his pit time is right on board with what the other guys were doing. So I got to imagine he's got just as much, if not more than enough fuel, since he was out there for longer.
Yeah. Well,
so
I mean,
we'll see what happens.
Refueled, he would have taken a little bit less fuel on board than the folks in front of him would have done. So that might make him slightly lighter. So let's see if it translates to track position. He does look like he's catching the back of those two quite quickly in the draft, and might try and see if he can slip past them like the slippery little person that he is.
No, you do not, Jack.
What if he's 7'8"?
What was the question?
This corner they're coming up to is a nasty little corner. As you can see, they're sliding away on that one. It's a little left-hander that's a bit off camber. You've got to be a bit careful going around there. It's very easy to lose the car. This is where tactics are going to really come into play because, you know, do you want to pass them and have them be able to draft you, or do you just want to sit back there and let them push the air out of the way and wait for the final lap and then try and pass both of them?
Last lap.
Third to last lap and play defensive. Well, okay.
There you go. I don't necessarily disagree. So we've got Pete, Carl, Justin, now 8 seconds back. Chris Herrera, another 7 seconds back to Mike Bowers, who's got Lyndall McMurphy and Jason Bice in tow. Another 3 seconds back to Jonathan Dance. You can see there in the 93. 5 seconds back to Don Parks. And he's got Thomas Fotos not too far behind him in 10th. That'll round out your top 10 for the time being. A little further back, we do have a great battle here brewing for the 18th position. This is Jeffrey Decker and Oliver Hartley.
Jeff Torbeck's chasing Steve Dewar. See how that happens, but he's still got a few seconds to get up behind him to be really doing anything. Although Steve runs, they both run a little wide going into that set of downhill turns on the north side of the track.
Both Steve and Jeff currently up 7 spots from their qualifying positions. Great runs for them.
Oliver Hartley's doing pretty good in 15th, working on Jeffrey Decker.
And a little further... Oops. Never mind.
Something showed me that Hauser's in 20th.
Yeah, I'm not
What is going on?
100% sure. There may have been an error here. We'll focus back in on the leaders for just a little bit while I try to figure out what the heck.
I mean, maybe he's pitted, and so a lot of other people ahead of him have not. Oh, and he's just passing. Looks, who was that he just passed? Oliver Hartley, who has made a user error and has broken both wheels on the right-hand side of his car.
Oh no.
What's user error? He ran off the road and hit the barrier all on his own. So Hartley is back in the pits.
Unfortunate evening for Oliver. Yep. He just makes it a little wide there. I'm also getting word a little bit earlier. Daniel Pagowski crashed. This does look like another solo incident, so won't dwell on that. But yeah, distance line, no contact, so he should be fine there. That bears out.
Which still begs the question of what on earth is going on with Mr. Hauser.
Indeed.
Maybe he stopped at one of his laps.
Or both of them.
Get a coffee.
I'm not seeing any damage on the 75 machine.
No, it looks to be running pretty smoothly. Let's have a look at the front end. Yeah, no, he looks in pretty good shape. I wonder
Chris,
what on earth happened. Sorry, go ahead, Megan.
Yeah, his pit time is it's got to be an error. It's showing 9 minutes and 16 seconds. That can't be right. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe did he crash earlier? We just missed it.
I am not sure.
Maybe he had to get to the back. Watch his tires go flying off.
All right, well, enough of James and his labs.
Oops. Yeah. We'll see here when he entered pit lane.
79.
Oh. Not him entering pit lane. I don't know why it's... Interesting. Yeah, well, that'll remain a mystery for now, unfortunately.
Mystery of James Hauser.
Very interesting.
That could be one of those Hardy Boys stories, you know?
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's settle up, refocus here. We will be coming up on the white flag. This is a live look now at Pete Mobrotin taking over the top spot from Carl Dronke with Justin Rebello, who had a different pit strategy, but worked out for both of them, or both strategies either way. This is going to be your lead group, and they've worked out a 9-second gap now. You can see way back there to Chris Herrera, and unfortunately for him, who does not seem to have a drafting partner at the moment.
And unfortunate for Frank.
Yeah, and then, yes. Yeah, right now, I don't know if Frank's happy with this result at the end of the day. I mean, it's still a long race. We've still got 8 minutes left. Anything can happen, but right now I would be disappointed if I were him.
Yep, well, we'll see how it all shakes out as they all come up and stream across the start-finish line, which should reset all the positions. See what we get.
Carl sets the hot lap for the evening at 7:59.98. We're riding on board here with Walter Collada, taking over. Nope. Momentarily took over the 10th spot from Jack Moffitt, who has his rear wing once again. This is a league where we do get one fast repair, meaning you can go to the pits and basically, poof, you can snap your fingers and magically get fixed. So we got a good battle brewing here for the 10th spot between Jack Moffitt and Walter Collada with their brand new Skip Barber Formula 2000s. And we have started the white flag lap, in case you missed that. Checking back in with Nikolai Wood, whose VR headset seems to be behaving a lot better this evening. Good to see that. But honestly, really, okay, so we've got Lyndall McMurphy and Jason Bice. This is a pretty good 5th position drive off, 1 lap, winner take all for that 5th position. And I would say that the Steve Dewar, Jeff Torbeck, and Luis Baboni here also have a little race going for that 12th position. Other than that, though, we'll check back in with our leaders. This is the closest racing on the track outside of those 2 battles.
Carl Dronke is holding them behind him right now, holding them both behind him as they stream around the north side of the track. This is a downhill section that they're coming into with some really fast sort of little turns. A lot of fun to drive this area. This sort of straightish bit, maybe it's one of those straights that isn't. But you're flat out in 5th gear going down here before you drop it down into about 2nd or 3rd and take the right-hander.
Real quick shout out to Jake Ashe, who is out, unfortunately. Looks like he had a little bit of fighting one of the corners, but it was good to see you, Jake, run in. Sorry the evening ended a little bit earlier than you would have liked, but hey, 3rd time's a charm. We'll get him next time. I'll check back in with Jake and Walter. Two very fast, very consistent, very safe drivers. I'm very excited to see who ends up with that P10. And as we're working our way through, I don't know, somewhere between 1/4 and halfway through the track, I'll pull up the total gains and losses for the evening so far, so you guys can, at home, can check out who's rising, who's falling. As we mentioned earlier, James Hauser down 13 spots. We're still not 100% sure what happened there. Sean Trediak involved with an early incident where he lost at least one wheel, maybe two. And Carrington remains our top climber for the evening. A little further back, Jeff Torbeck working on Steve Dewar. And Luis just kind of watching there from the third spot of this 3-car pack. Steve remains in front of Jeff for the time being. We'll see if he can't hold him off. Find some pace. This will be tough though, being the last lap.
Okay, so James spun just before going into the pits and missed the pit entrance on lap 3, and then beached himself on the curb. And
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and that's what threw him back all the way down in the pits.
Gotcha. That was on lap 3. Well, I'll try to look through later and find that. We'll just take your word for it now, Ian.
Well, you know. As one of his labs, he's working on lighter than air materials. Obviously, it's not being very effective.
Well, we hate to call his name for the first time when we see an accident, but Carter Stickney has crashed. This looks like another solo incident. Fortunate for... Oh, no, I take that back. Who was that? That was the 418 just ahead of them. 419 maybe? That was Ken Kirkendall. And Carter was just trying to avoid. That's Sean Trediak. And wow, yeah, that's. We'll have to go back and check that out. Although I hate to miss the live action going on because we do have some great racing. Both Kent and Carter involved in that will now battle out for the 28th position with their severely aero damaged cars.
Well, it doesn't. It's not as bad as it used to be. Losing a nose cone now does not slow you down as much as it used to. They've fixed that that bug. It's not a bug; it's a feature.
Exactly. Justin kind of, I don't know if he's fallen off pace there just a little bit on just to give him room, or he had a little slip, but he's still within the draft, so I don't want to be too worried about that just yet, but it is interesting to see him that far back at the moment. A little further back, we see Lyndall McMurphy overtaking Jason.
Don't forget, the draft is good once you're within a second of the driver ahead of you.
So he's still got plenty of,
yeah,
I guess plenty, but...
Although he's dropping back, he's at 0.9. He's just barely in the draft. You can see him desperately scrubbing himself across the track to try and keep there.
Yeah.
Keep himself in there. Dronky has been taken by McBroughton.
Yeah, well, here we go. This is it. This is the final straightaway. This is coming up to the finish line.
And you can see Rubello is catching them very, very quickly. He's catching them, and now it's going to be a matter of who can get around these corners the best. And Rubello's right there. They're going to be going up there almost in a 3-wide pack. This is time to just send it, folks.
Lick the stamp, send it.
Here we go, here we go. Oh, he's got a little left on that. It is so close. He lost some speed by just dropping it a tad wide. There you go. What a finish.
Here comes Chris Herrera to take home the 4th position. All jokes aside, great run for Chris. Glad to see him finishing well. Here is Lyndall McMurphy and Jason Bice coming around the last few turns. Lyndall gonna hold off Jason, it looks like. Jonathan Dance will take home 7th. We'll ride along here with Don Parks as he comes across the line for
We've also
adequate
got race
racing.
10th. Jack Moffat is right in the gearbox. Oh, he's backed out a little bit. Oh, here we go. He's going to push. He's pushing
Trying.
hard. Can he get there? Can he get there? Come on, Jack. Oh.
Doesn't have anything for the double zero.
Oh, no, he does.
Oh, no.
He hits. He crashes. Oh, no. He crashes right before the finish line. Oh, dang nugget. Oh, no. And people are passing him. Are they passing him, or did he actually get over the finish line?
Yeah, I think.
Did he cross?
I believe he made it across. I do have Jeff Torbeck now as the next finisher. I do show Jack finishing P10. Here comes Nikolai Wood. Some poor bloke there. It's just upside down.
That's Jack Moffat.
Oh, that's Jack Moffat. Here's Thomas
Yeah.
Photos.
I was trying to figure out if he actually crossed the line or not. That would have been just horrible to crash right there before the line. Oh my gosh.
Well, and it's tough too, because on this track the line isn't really painted. It's tough to know where it is.
Yeah. And here comes Andrew Coles. And Adam Wright is coming up now. He's on the back straight. Behind him is Aaron La. Who's Aaron La? We haven't spoken about Aaron La.
Yeah, we mentioned him just a little bit earlier, and
is he La or LA? Is he Aaron LA?
It could be LA.
Or he could be Aaron LA. Aaron.
So Aaron's done 4 races with us, and he does have 2 top 10s. He's kind of a boomer bus driver, it seems to be so far this season, but here he's coming home in P23. A little further back, David Meyer.
Oliver Hartley is still sat in the pits as everybody's finished, poor guy.
Still trying to get that fixed.
David M. Meyer is finishing, followed by Max. Sean Tradiak is in 30th, which is not a normal position for Sean. I think he had a little trouble earlier on in the race, didn't he?
Yeah, there was a bit of issue. It does look like Carter Stickney is trying his best to catch up to Kent Kirkendall after that wreck on the last lap.
Look, he's right behind him, and he's got the draft. So let's see if he can grab him. He's getting closer. He's up the gearbox, and he's passed him. They're slightly before the bridge. So what's going to happen now is, I imagine, that Kent is going to try and get it back into Carter's draft and see if he can repass him. And Kent's getting closer and closer, but I don't know if he'll be able to do it on these last few corners. No, I think he's backed it off a little bit.
Sends it a little bit there, but yeah, just not much going.
Oh, he's very close. Oh, no.
Might have spoke too soon there.
And Robert Logatano is coming up to finish now in 33rd.
Yeah. Right around where the Eagles are going to finish the standing. The Philadelphia Eagles will finish the standings this year. So Robert representing Philly there very well tonight.
I don't know. I think the Washington team, what the hell they're called these days. Isn't it WTF? Isn't that what they're called?
The what? Or Daniel Pagowski's car there looking a little rough, but I think that'll pretty much do it. Decker is out. Hartley is in the pits getting fixed, and everybody else remains out. So let's see if I'm right about this. Yeah, congratulations to Carl Dronke, who wins the night. Pete Mobron will take home second. Justin Robello with a great race for him will finish on the podium, and that was fun to see. So Chris Herrera, team running on empty in the house tonight with a 4th place finish. Lyndall McMurphy, Jason Bice with another great run. He's had a string of them now. Jonathan Dance in 7th, Don Parks in 8th, Walter Collada in 9th, and Jack Moffitt in 10th. The 9th and 10th spots there. Great race to the finish. A lot of fun to watch. So we'll scroll through the rest of the results.
That was a very, very good race. You know, apparently Walter Collada collects macaroons.
I've know one other macaroon collector.
Would that be Megan?
No, I would veto that. I think the macaroons. I'm allergic, so.
Oh no!
Lies.
Are you allergic to the yellow ones only? You can't eat the yellow ones.
Right. Yeah. So if she's any other ones are fine. There we go. So that's your standings for tonight. Big shout out. Looks like our biggest mover was, to no one's surprise, Carrington Wilmer with 13 spots to the green, and no other double-digit mover. So great racing that we saw this evening, and for such a large track, I was honestly, I don't want to say surprised, but it was great to see still some great battles happening throughout the field as we usually have. So let's start here with our second place finisher, Pete Mobron, and who had a great battle there. A little bit different strategy than third place Justin Rubello, but it was great to see them battled out there at the end. Pete, how did you see the race tonight?
Yeah, we had a good time at that one. It was relatively uneventful. I'm sure it wasn't terribly exciting to watch, but it was definitely a strategy race, right? We had some fuel strategy differences that were rather intentional, and then of course that back straight chess game is always interesting.
Yeah, to me that is kind of that's the exciting part for the viewer. Obviously, I know that there's a lot. The whole track itself presents such a mental and physical challenge to you guys as drivers, but at the end of the day, that the fact that they got that long straightaway with the chess game of the pack racing right up into the final few corners, that was very exciting to watch. Now, you had a smoking fast time in qualifying. Was that I meant to, and this is a very simple question. Was that were you in a draft for that, or how did you manage a what I believe was a 7:58?
Oh, yeah, I had an absolutely ideal draft coming down the back straight. I think it was Mr. Dewars and Mr. Ashe were about 1.1 seconds up. As I got out of the back, I was able to get that double draft all the way down. I think that's probably good for, a full second, maybe as 1.2 seconds or so.
Sure. So. Awesome. Yeah, it was wondering what so Justin Rubello stayed out, and you and Carl came in a little bit earlier. You didn't have your teammate up there necessarily with you. So what was did tonight go according to plan for you specifically, or were you flexing on the fly?
Yeah, I didn't expect Herrera and Carl to dive in behind me. I was going to try and get myself in some clean air and let them do their thing.
Okay.
When Carl and Chris both dived in behind me, that was just kind of all right. I guess it's let's go flat out on the end. We got a little bit lucky in traffic. I think Chris got held up coming out of Foxhole, I think it was, and Carl and I were able to get a little bit of breathing space, and then sure enough, Rubello managed to come out like 0.4 behind us right in the pits. So he did just fine for being hung out to dry for a lap for sure. And then it was, just hanging on, being precise until the end, until we can have that knockdown drag out, last couple corners.
Yeah, it was great fun watching you all come up that back straight. And I was waiting to see if Justin could repass you guys, but you kind of closed the door on him fairly decisively there towards the end.
Yeah, I wasn't aware I was supposed to leave the door open, so I just went ahead and closed it.
Well, your parents always tell you don't leave the door open.
Yeah, you were not raised in a barn. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, when we came around that final corner, I had looked back, and then I saw that's the ideal strategy if you're 1v1, right? If you can be 0.9 or 1.0 coming out of that back corner, then you can kind of choose when you're going to pass, and it's just decisive. You win by default. But since Carl and I were pretty close, I figured I didn't pedal at all. I figured if Carl and I could keep our speed up cumulatively, then Justin was going to be able to get in before we got to the bridge, where basically the lanes get decided. And sure enough, we got there just in time.
Nice one, nice one. And Pete, did you see James at any time?
No, I heard tell James was on the track. I'm sure I heard him on comms at some point, but and he forgot to join us.
So you just basically ignored him for the race.
Was I supposed to do something different?
I have no idea, mate. I don't know. You just sort of I think he wedged himself onto a berm at some point in time. So I think that really kind of spoiled his race a little bit.
That can throw a monkey wrench in things. Yeah.
Awesome.
Good race, man. Good race.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch, and obviously we know how fast you are personally at it, and it was great that and to see Justin up there too. We know he's fast, but it's people mixing it up a little bit, and you guys put on a real good show. I know you thought maybe it was a little boring, but I think when you'll see when you go back and watch, it was quite fun for us. So thank you for that, and congratulations on the podium and for your finish for your full fuel strategy team. And we look forward to where are we going? Are we going to Australia next week? Phillip Island?
We're off to Phillip Island tomorrow. Next week, rather.
Outstanding. Well, I'm sure Scott Dorkins is super pumped about that, as are we. Very fast race, a little bit different than here, and we look forward to seeing how you guys can do.
All right. Thanks, guys. We look forward to seeing you next week.
See you next week, mate.
And Jason Bice is on standby here. He had a 6th place finish, up 1 spot from his grid, and Jason's actually on a roll. I feel like the last time we got to interview him this many times in a row is because he kept getting wrecked out. So it's nice that this is something a
I had
little
so much free time during the race.
different this time. So yeah, just talk to us. First of all, congratulations on the 6th place finish, and just talk us through what you saw.
Yeah, I mean, Lyndon and I had an awesome last lap. It's kind of funny. So the whole lap, I'm thinking, okay, what was Nikolai Wood thinking last season when he was in my shoes? And so, yeah, that battle down the last straight. I was just talking to Lyndon a moment ago. He held such a beautiful line coming off that back straight that my only option was just to keep the car on the track. There's nothing else I could do, and it was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. Sad to see Mike fall back a little bit. I think he got dinged up going through hit, miss. I don't know if he lost a nose cone or something, but we had a really good 3-way battle going for a while. So sad to see him drop back. But yeah, it was a fantastic race. I love racing this place.
And it shows. It shows. It was a good fun race to watch. There was some great action up at the front. I was really pleased to see how the whole group sort of hung together for quite a long time, actually, throughout the first lap and a half before it sort of started to split into 2 groups. And obviously the faster front guys just left.
Yep, that's what they do. See ya.
Yeah, but no, it was a good race to watch.
Yeah. We missed you, Ian. How's your the status on your headset?
Well, I know that it arrived into California, so hopefully they will turn it around and send it back. I don't know how long it's going to take them. Tell me anything yet, so no idea at this point in
time. Well, yeah, I hope it comes back soon, but definitely looking forward to hearing on the broadcast. Sorry about the 10-minute delay. I look forward to finding out how you guys filled up that time.
We did a little dance. I may have sang a little. It's fine.
Megan entertained us.
We have no idea what happened. We tried to advance the session, but it was bent on giving us 10 minutes of nothing to do. So.
Oh well, it's one of those things.
Yeah, it happens. So anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to Lyndall. That was a lot of fun. So, Lyndall, if you're listening, thank you. It was cool.
Yeah, we really enjoyed watching that between you guys, and yeah, fantastic. I didn't see anything different than what you saw. I thought it was really well defended, and yeah, I guess it's your comeuppance from
Yep.
pulling such a great move on Nikolai last season. So
What goes around?
You win some, you lose some. But
Yeah, the way he executed that was just gorgeous. I mean, and you can bet that I'm going to go back and look at that 100 times because there's something to learn there. So, yeah, congrats, Lindell.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was nicely played, guys. That was a big race.
Yep. Well, guys, Megan, take care.
Take it easy, mate.
Yep.
See you around.
Well then, another Sunday night put to bed.
Indeed, that was a lot of fun, and watched some slow mo. I'm sure Scott Dorkins isn't gonna really enjoy me showing that one. That's a little rough.
I think that paint job deserves that particular.
That close up, yeah, it was a hell of an angle. Well, I'll tell you what, Ian. Like, we've got our champagne popped here. Megan popped the champagne. We've got our pinkies out. We're enjoying a great weekend of racing. I'm glad to see that the Skip Barbers don't have I don't know, they're Pirelli tires, whatever. Seemed to be failing the F1 teams earlier today. So
no idea what's going on there. I would like to sort of give a shout out to anybody who's sitting on the East Coast while this little bit of weather blows through over Sunday. Stand in Florida right now. It'll be rolling up the coast and blowing out of here by Thursday. Stay safe.
Indeed, yeah. We're on that list, so we'll keep you guys updated and let you know what happened. Actually, let's look here real quick at James Hauser. But while we're doing that, Megan, do you have any final thoughts for the evening? How'd you like that?
Well, I wasn't as bored as I thought I would be.
It's good. Yeah,
that's absolutely great.
It's a low bar, but very good. Yeah.
I say that sarcastically. I was here for the race last season, so I knew what I was getting myself into. And I think the point is just that it's a vastly different, track than anything else that you all race, or not as. It just seems a lot longer. So obviously the strategies are different. Which I actually appreciate. Not as much kind of tight racing as we saw last week, which is kind of more my style. But it certainly was interesting to see with the pit strategies and kind of how everything shook out. And I really loved that Justin was able to get on third, and to kind of see a little shake up in kind of what we normally see from week to week on who's sitting on the podium. So no, I really enjoyed it.
That is awesome. And hopefully we'll see you out here soon.
For sure. Yeah, no, I'm working up to it. I have yet to get on a track with other humans, but because nobody trusts me with that yet, but including my children. I'm pretty sure my 4 and 6-year-old are better at this than me. But hopefully soon we will get there.
There you go. It'll be fun to see you out there, wheel to wheel with everybody else. And it's going to be interesting to see who Chris then focuses on, because if he focuses on the wrong people, he gets in trouble.
You're not wrong there. You are not wrong there. Well, yeah. Is Max and or Ben still around? Do they want to give their final thoughts?
Max had to disappear, and I think Ben's probably done the same thing. So I will say for them that I know that Max was sitting here watching it and having a great time, really enjoying himself. Ben, I think, actually just went upstairs and started doing his own race rather than watching this one. So he's probably just still doing that if I know him.
There you go.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm trying to get Max to get through his rookie season in the Miatas, so that he can get into the Skippies, but he's not quite. I mean, he's not quite figured out actually how to drive yet. So
well, yeah, it's not easy, and I know the Miatas were never my favorite either, and but it's a good jumping off point. So
Yeah,
and it's tough.
You went through it, don't you?
Yeah, this is not. I mean, I call it a video game, and I know that's probably controversial. It is a game, but at the same time, it's not. You know, people think. I think when you call it a game, they equate like Forza or Gran Turismo or something like that. It is not that. It requires, you know, skill, dedication, concentration, to really be competitive. And I'm sure the same is true for those other games, but I just mean that, you know, the folks here, the competition level is kind of through the roof, and you know, you're held accountable for your ability to drive safely and cleanly, and where you actually finish. So it's not easy, and you know, this Skip Barber car here is the Formula 2000 is a not the rookie. For those of you who are watching I think we mentioned this earlier. It's not the rookie car. It's not where you start. It's the next step up. It's still a learning car, but you can see that it still provides amazing competition even at the highest levels. You were mentioning Pete owning world records, you know, for speed in this car on this track. So clearly you can go on and do different things, but in and of itself, this car is still can be a handful, and it's not easy. It's not as easy as grabbing an Xbox controller and you know, grabbing pole and winning. So
No, not at all. And I mean, even though, as I said earlier, even though it's got a lovely front wing and a lovely back wing, they don't do anything. They don't give you any downforce. They don't help suck the car onto the ground and allow you to attack corners better. It's vastly underpowered, and you're driving on what looks like 4 wheelbarrow wheels. You know,
exactly, and it's still a blast. It's still a lot of fun to drive.
It's a huge amount of fun to drive. Apparently, though, it's a little lower to the ground than some people thought.
Yes.
Not mentioning any names here. 2 Labs Racing.
2 Labs Racing. His SPO was not set correctly for that, I don't think.
Yeah. Not mentioning any names here.
That's funny. All right. Well, we've had some fun, some great racing. We did a little crash blooper reel at the end. Great interviews. You know, if you're watching and you're on the fence about jumping in on one of the interviews, we encourage you to do it. I prefer to have, you know, people in the front, middle, and back of the pack to kind of get their experience. And again, this is not professional. We're just doing this for fun, so might as well hop on and chat about the race. So I recommend everybody do that.
Again, you know, if you don't do this, I'm just going to make up stuff about you anyway. So you might as well.
Yeah, as we've seen. So there you go. It's
you know, we never found out about the elderberry wine. I'm really disappointed.
The proof is in the pudding. I know Justin did not come on and defend himself about the elderberry wine, and that's on him, really, the way I see it. So
he has the opportunity, and he decided to shun us.
Yep.
We've been shunned.
I get it. Well, I just want to say thanks to everybody, all the drivers, for putting on a great show and coming out. You know, the effort that everybody puts into this week, I don't want to understate that. A lot of practice. The admins who set all this up, the guys who do the now Justin's on there defending himself. Let's see if we can.
Nobody asked him. Nobody ever asked anyone.
Now he's. I can't even find him. He's not in a chat.
Yeah. No. Don't want to hear it.
There you go. Oh, he wants another podium before he gives it a shot. So all right, we'll give him that much.
Jam.
He's a little
jam. It's elderberry wine.
Elderberry jam, elderberry wine. Who knows?
I don't know.
Anyway, a lot of effort. You know, anybody who's just watching with friends and family, it's great. Hopefully and if we're not focusing on somebody that you're tuning in to see, please just comments, ask for it. We'll focus on everybody. This is not the whole purpose of this is so that you can see your loved ones and yourselves, and you know, get to see all that. So
wait, hold on. I thought the whole purpose of this was for us to have a conversation with ourselves and enjoy us.
Well, that is the yes, that and Megan to make fun of us publicly. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, that is also the point. That is 1A. 1B would be everybody just sharing what they love. So
Yep.
let us know, and we're happy to do that. But I think that
Well,
was my thoughts on the race. It was
yeah,
great. I had a great
one,
time. I'm looking
one
forward to
final
Phillip
thing
Island.
we've got some shirts. You need to sign up for them so we can get enough orders in to actually make it so we can actually go ahead and order them. So
Yes, and Megan will be offering her thought on that. I think. Well, we'll talk later about that. I think it's going to be great. You can represent your membership in the Sunday Night Skippy League. I know that I'm very appreciative that you thought of this idea, Ian, to have merch, because I know it's silly, but one thing that I like to collect is coffee mugs. So if this is successful, I think down the road I want a Sunday Night Skippy coffee mug so I can rep when I'm at work in the morning, drinking my coffee. People can ask me
yeah,
about what Sunday Night Skippy is, and I can tell them
absolutely.
what a nerd
Or your champagne.
or exactly, we could get flutes, whatever you want, or you can put champagne in a coffee
In
mug.
the mug.
Doesn't
In the
really
mug.
matter. Doesn't really
Exactly.
matter.
Exactly.
As long as I get a chance to brag about what a nerd I am to the people that I work with, then
There you go.
I'm good to go. So
And of course, all of the three people that watch this thing on broadcast should have their
yes,
shirts as well. So
yes,
tell your friends or your loved ones who are racing while you're watching that they are supposed to sign you up and get you one.
exactly. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. If if you are sorry, funny comment from Carrington. If you are out there and you're interested in Sunday Night Skippy swag, and because one of my thoughts too was maybe we customize this a little bit. You know what I mean? Like if we get a big enough order, and I would have to look and see what it is, a big enough order. But you could get a team running on empty Sunday Night Skippy. You could get a full fuel strategy or something like that. Along those lines. But I think this is a good. I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to get the t-shirts. I want to get the t-shirts out there. I think, Ian, that was the fact that you just threw it out there and said let's do this. Love it. I love it, and I'm super excited for it. So hop on there, put your order in, and we'll get that done, and then we'll go from there.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it. I think we've talked long enough. I think that the champagne is finally sinking in. It looks like Megan's got something to say, though.
I have zero things to say.
Other than it's time to go.
Other than let's
Okay.
get this
All right,
done.
wrap it up. Here we go. Well, there you go. We got Team Running on Empty in for coffee mugs as well. So we'll focus on the t-shirts. We get a successful launch on that, and we'll get some information out moving forward about whatever we may decide to do. Because guess what? It's our league, and we'll do what we want. So with that, we'll wish everybody a happy Sunday evening. Stay safe out there. Pandemic, weather, whatever it is. And we look forward to seeing you next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And we'll be covering the Phillip Island race from Australia live for you. And if you have any requests or recommendations, please leave the comments on the YouTube or the Twitch, and we'll do our best. And that's all I got. So hope everybody stays safe, and we love you, and good night.
Good night.